Can you hear me okay? Yeah? Okay, good. To me, I sound normal. Okay. Let me back up. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so my name is Scott Kane. I'm a developer at WormBase. I've been working at WormBase for a few years, but I've been working on genome browsers for, I think, 18 or 19 years. So it's a topic very near and dear to my heart. Let's see. So at WormBase, genome browsers are among the most commonly used tool. So there's JBrowse, what I'm talking about today. There's also GBrowse, which has been around for a very long time. And I can tell you, will probably stick around for a long time. So that if you are a, let's say, traditionalist, and you like GBrowse, I'm not going to kill it. At least not yet. Not for a while. Nobody panic. But it is really one of the between GBrowse and JBrowse, it is really kind of the most used tool at WormBase. So JBrowse has been in development at WormBase for around 3 years. I remember at the last this meeting 2 years ago, I kind of introduced it, and I think that probably went okay. But don't go looking for the video because actually you could look and then see how things have changed because things have gotten a lot better. But just some details about JBrowse. It is a JavaScript-based tool, which if that doesn't mean anything to you, that's fine. But what it means is, from your perspective, it's very fast and fluid to use. You know, if you want to scroll or pan over to the side or something, it goes very fast. It has support for many of the binary data files that you might use, like BAMs, bigwigs, anything that you can index with tabix, if you know what that means. So like VCF files, crams. And what's great about those is that even if those binary files are really big, JBrowse will display them very quickly. So if you say, show me this 2 gig data file, it'll still show you the results for where you're looking very fast. Seconds, literally, maybe less. And JBrowse also supports a plugin architecture that makes it very easy. Well, very easy is maybe overstating it, but it makes it easy to extend the functionality of JBrowse. And I'm not going to spend any time talking about it. I put a bunch on here for plugins that we developed at WormBase and also ones that were developed in the community that we implemented in JBrowse to make it more useful for you. But they're not that interesting, so I'm not going to talk about them in direct detail. So anyways, a few things I want to point out about JBrowse. So this is kind of the top panel in JBrowse, and there we go. So just to orient where we are, there's a species menu right here. I should mention, so let's see, on the first night, I think it was Eric Schwartz said something about the VC210 strain being not very easy to find in WormBase. If I asked you where would you go to look for VC210 on this page, what do you think you would click on? To me, I don't think it's that hard. I would click on this menu, and I guarantee you I would find VC210. Anyway, so let's see. So besides the species dropdown, in JBrowse, I'm actually going to do a live demo because I'm a masochist. But I just want to use these slides first to kind of orient where we're going. So anyway, for selecting tracks that you want to show in JBrowse, there's actually 2 ways to do it. That you can get like a list of checkboxes, and for C. elegans, it's a very long list of checkboxes. Or there's another thing called a faceted browser, and this button will switch you between them. There's also, there was for a while functionality to do screenshots with JBrowse, and it went away because of a bug that I couldn't fix. But yay, I fixed it. And with the next release that comes out in a week or 2, this will be back. The ability to get high resolution screenshots. And then another thing I just want to point out that sometimes I find useful is this remove track labels, because the track labels go over the track. So sometimes it's like a label of a gene hiding behind that track label. So that button will just slide them off to the side, and then you click again, it'll slide them back. So anyway, that's a nice, useful little thing. There was a file menu on that bar before, and this is what you find in that file menu. I'm going to talk briefly about, I'm going to show you how you can open up a file or a URL, although I just realized while Chris was talking that I have a VCF file that I was going to open and show you, and it was going to be really cool, except it's on my laptop and I'm using it. the workshop laptop. So I won't be able to show you that, but I'll still handle it for that. But anyway, you can open, basically just all those file types that I said JBrowse supported, you can open them directly and add as a track. Again, it's very fast. And I'll show you, not a file, but I'll show you opening a URL like that. A combination track, I'll show you an example of that too. Basically, does set operations between tracks. So you can say, show me the union, or show me the intersection of these two tracks. And then you say, I'll show you an example of that. You can also search for particular sequences, and it'll just basically drop a little feature where the sequence you're looking for is. And you can also do motif searches, like position weight matrix searches. And I'll show you an example of that as well. One thing that I will show you a demo of, but I wanted to make sure I made a slide of because I get this question on a fairly regular basis, which is, how do I get some sequence? People ask that a lot. One of the things you can do, the most common thing to do, is if you right-click on a feature, you'll get a menu that looks like this that pops up. And for things like genes, transcript type things, you'll get this view sequence option, and then you'll get this little dialog where you can highlight, lowercase, hide, add upstream and downstream sequence, and then you'll get it there, and you can copy and paste it. And if you copy and paste it into like a word processing program, like Word or something, it'll preserve that highlighting, which would be really nice. So it's actually a really nice functionality. I think it's very useful. Relatively new is also, oh boy, blue is unfortunate. But on this screen anyway, I think it looks great on a real monitor. You can get color coding of protein coding genes by the translation frame. So for instance, in this gene I can tell that, yeah, here it is. There's a frame shift due to an extension of this exon. So most of the exons go here, but this one goes a little bit farther. Ah! There we go. And then I can see that as a result, downstream, the frame of translation changes in the following exon. So it's kind of a neat little feature that I implemented not that long ago, so I thought I'd point it out. Okay, live demo. Let's see how it goes. So first thing, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to copy this URL, which happens to be for a bed file at the ENCODE project. My recollection, if I'm remembering everything right, uh-oh, no, I didn't want to download it, but that's okay. My recollection is this is for a big bed file that is for an experiment involving the BLMP transcription factor. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so JBrowse. Oh my gosh, that's so tiny. It's just a little bigger. So I get to JBrowse there. Should load kind of fast. This is honestly the slowest part of using JBrowse. Boy. Okay, there we go. It's not terrible, I guess. But now that it's loaded, it'll be very fast. So over on the left here, let me full screen maybe. There we go. So yeah, so like I said, over on the left is a pretty long list of tracks. And there's a few tracks that are open by default. But what I want to do is do that file and open track file or menu. And over here, I'm going to paste in that URL I just copied. Okay. Now, what JBrowse typically tries to do is guess what kind of file this is, but it's not real good at guessing. It basically just looks at the last few characters in the URL. So if the last few characters in the URL aren't something like bed or VCF, it's not going to know what it is. And that's true here. So I have to tell it that it's a big bed file. So I'm going to click on that right there. And then that's the long list of file formats that it supports. So that's pretty nice. And I just have to find big bed and say open it. And nothing's there. But that's because I'm looking somewhere where there's probably no data. So I can zoom out with this little doohickey, little microphone thingy. No, not microphone. Magnifying glass. There we go. So they're there. So that is coming. So obviously I didn't download it or do anything. It just I pasted in that URL and boom, now I've got a track. In fact, I spent much more time talking than it spent drawing it. Now, one thing I'd like to show you related to this, so I said this is related to the BLMP transcription factor. If I go up here into this track list, up at the top, which is probably kind of hard to see, but it says filter tracks up there. If I type in ELMP, I filter all these tracks, and yeah, so here it says there's 0, but you can see down there at the bottom, at the very bottom, it says there's 3 for modern code. Okay, so I'll load those two. So a couple of things I want to point out about these. So first of all, yeah, so that's good that everything kind of lines up in the same place. It means I'm probably remembering correctly what this big bet is. But a couple of things I want to point out about it that are, oh boy, hard to see. But relatively new to this JBrowse instance, like in the last release or two, for modern code data that has peak calls. These little pink bars here are peak calls. And unfortunately, there's some really nice pink highlighting that goes along with it, but you can't see it, I'm sorry. But it's really attractive. And for the tracks that don't have peak calls, Chris Grove and I spent, it feels like months, trying to make these ones like this track here, the embryonic one for BMLP1, to filter them a little better, to basically get the noise out, to adjust them so that it makes a little more sense. But anyway, I wanted to point that out too. So that's it for those, I think. So, like I said, I wanted to do a VCF file, but it's on my other computer. But if I had, I would just be able to click on this and load it just like you normally would any other file. The only thing I want to mention is that it has to be tabix indexed, and you have to load the index as well at the same time. And if you don't know what any of those words mean, that's fine. You can just ask me, and I will help you with it. So that's a really nice functionality too. And again, it's very fast loading those in. Okay. Oh man. I just wanted to point out the gene thing I said before. So if I right-click, there we go, and do the view sequence. First, I have to say which transcript I want to see. So I'll just select whatever the default was there. I'll get warning messages that I can just ignore, and then I can. Trust me, it's fine. So highlight CDSs, highlight 5' UTR. Trust me, those are different colors. 100 base pairs upstream, and lowercase that. And so now if I grab that sequence, copy it and paste it, it will maintain the highlighting, it will maintain the upper and lower casing. It's really, really nice. I can lowercase the UTRs, that's another pretty common, or the introns, that's a pretty common thing to do too. I know that I am running really low on time. Let me see what other things I want to do here.
3 minutes.
What's that?
3 minutes.
Oh, I got 3 minutes? Okay. I won't talk super fast. I'll just talk kind of fast. So. Okay. How does it keep getting lost? Tell me I didn't close it. That would be terrible. Which one are you looking for?
Oh, it's in this full screen, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, thank you, whoever said that. Let's see. How do I switch back to it?
If you swipe with 4 fingers.
Left or right.
Oh, that is a terrible UI. 4-finger swipe is just, that's just bad. Okay. All right, so the other things I wanted to show were some of the specialty tracks. So first, the sequence search track, that's really easy. I didn't mention, but I wrote in my slides that you can search with regular expression. Anyway, so when you do that, it'll create a new track that will it'll continue to exist until the next time you reload your page or something. But so anyway, it highlights where those things exist. Those are these. Or if I wanted to do a motif search, I could just pick some motif, put in a minimum relative score. So a position weight matrix, you can generate a raw score of how well a particular sequence matches, and then compare that to the absolute score that you would get if everything was perfect, as good as it could be. And so I'll say 90% because that's pretty good. I should find some if I do that. Maybe. There we go. Okay, and again, so yeah, so it opened, but there's nothing there. Maybe 90% was too strict. Oh, there we go. Okay, so there's a few of them. So anyway, and the other thing about that is that you can put it, if you have your own position weight matrix, you can put all the numbers in over here and create a track for your own matrix if you have one. Let's see, and then the last thing, let me close a few tracks because it's getting crowded. Oh, except I didn't want to close that, the big bed tracks. Let me, where did it go? Okay, I'll just reopen it.
Can you turn off your cell phone?
Oh yeah, that's probably what it was, you're right. Gosh. And like I said, you know, live demos. Okay. So anyway, the last one, combination tracks. I just wanted to show. Combination tracks are really cool. I can drag 2 tracks onto it. So polymorphisms and big bed, that big bed track. So maybe I want to find the intersection where there's a polymorphism plus there's a peak column at big bed. That's what this is going to do. And that's what it did. So it basically found cases where there are annotated polymorphisms and there's a column at big bed track, and that's what this is. So anyway, that is pretty much it. Thanks for your attention, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.